Hello, fellow food lovers. Today we will be making a home-style glass noodle stir-fry using mung bean vermicelli, and it will have ground pork, egg, Chinese sausage, and dried shrimp in it. You will need mung bean vermicelli, about 5 small bundles. It should have a total weight of 200 grams or 7 ounces. A quarter pound of ground pork, 3 eggs, 2 Chinese sausage, 1 tablespoon of Chinese dried shrimp, and 2 green onions for garnish. For the sauce, you're going to need 1 tablespoon of oyster sauce, 1 teaspoon of chicken powder, 1 tablespoon of soy sauce, 1 teaspoon of sesame oil, and 1 level tablespoon of cornstarch for the egg mixture. Okay, for the egg mixture, we're gonna make a cornstarch slurry. So we're gonna take 1 level tablespoon of cornstarch, and we're gonna add 1/8 cup of cold water to that. And you wanna stir that, make sure that the cornstarch is all dissolved in the water before you add the eggs. So you're gonna add 3 eggs. You're gonna add a pinch of salt to that to season. So you got 2 green onions, I like cutting off the roots. I don't like eating that part. And you can use both the green and the white portion of the green onion for the garnish. You have a quarter pound of ground pork, and this is what Chinese sausage looks like in the packaging. You can usually get it in the big grocery stores, but if not, you can definitely get in a Chinese or an Asian grocery store. So you need 2 sausages. So you're going to slice it up. I like slicing up at a diagonal. And then you need Chinese dried shrimp. So in a Chinese grocery store, they come in varying sizes. The bigger the dried shrimp, the more expensive it is. You need the smallest one. It's the cheapest as well. It's just for seasoning. So we're gonna cook the eggs in a non-stick skillet on high heat. So once it's hot, you're gonna add about 2 tablespoons of oil. Swirl that around. And then you're going to pour the egg mixture in. Give it a bit of a mix before you pour it in. So you want to make sure that the skillet's nice and hot before you pour the oil and egg in, so that the eggs will set right away. So once it starts to set, I like to push the egg over to 1/2 of the skillet and then tilt the pan so that the raw egg spills over to the other side. So that gets it to cook faster. Okay, once that's set, I'm going to push it all over to 1/2 of the pan. And then I'm going to turn it over. So you don't want the eggs fully cooked. You want it to be a little on the soft side when you take it out of the pan, because they'll finish cooking in the stir fry. So I'm going to break it into 10 to 12 big pieces. You don't want to break the eggs into too small pieces. Nice big pieces look good in the stir fry. Okay, I'm going to set the eggs aside. Now I have the wok on high heat, and once the wok's hot, I'm going to add about 2 tablespoons of oil in there. Swirl it around. And then I'm going to add the sausage in there. So it doesn't take long for the sausage to cook, maybe 2 to 3 minutes. But you want to make sure that you move it around and turn it so that both sides of the sausage are cooked before you remove it. And you want the sausage fully cooked before you take it out. It'll be cooked afterwards. It will just be added to the end of the stir fry. Okay, it's done. I'm going to take it out. So I'm going to just leave that oil in there and add the ground pork, provided that there's no bits that are stuck to the bottom of the pan. If there is, you might as well just clean the wok and then start new again. But with the Chinese sausage, it's actually a pretty clean stir fry, so it's just oil in there. So we added the 1/4 pound of ground pork, and we're breaking it up and stirring it around so that everything's coated in oil and cooking. You want it to cook halfway through before you add the liquid. You don't want it to be fully cooked. Okay, so maybe 4 or 5 minutes have gone by now. We're going to add the dried shrimp. We're going to add about a tablespoon of that into the mixture. Since it's such small shrimp, you don't need to rehydrate before you use it. You can add directly to the stir fry because it'll rehydrate in the water that it cooks in. So we're going to add 5 cups of water to this. So 5 cups of water is good to cook the 5 bundles of glass noodles, or the 200 grams of glass noodles. So yeah, about 1 cup of water for every 40 grams of glass noodles. So we're gonna add the sauce to that. We're gonna add the chicken powder, 1 teaspoon. Oyster sauce, 1 tablespoon. Soy sauce, 1 tablespoon. So we're using light soy sauce, not the dark one. And sesame oil, 1 teaspoon. The sesame oil adds a nice nutty taste to the stir fry. Okay, so you give that a stir, mix the sauce into the water, and then bring it to a full boil. So as you can see, it's at a full boil now. That's about 5 minutes has passed by. Then we're gonna add the noodles now. So this is what the glass noodles look like, and this is what 1 bundle looks like. You want to add 5 of those in there. So again, each bundle is about 40 grams. So for every 40 grams of glass noodles, you want to add 1 glass of water, 1 cup of water. So all that water is going to be absorbed into the noodles when it's cooked, and it'll be a dry noodle when you serve it. So when I say this is like a home-style glass noodle stir fry, in southern China you won't see this much in Chinese restaurants. It's more like a dish that people would cook at home. Okay, as you can see, all the water's dissolved from the noodles or absorbed into the noodles. It's fairly dry now. Probably 5 minutes has passed, 5 to 7 minutes has passed since. So we're gonna add the cooked Chinese sausage, stir that in. There's just enough liquid in there to prevent it from burning and sticking to the bottom of the wok. So we add the eggs. We're going to give that a gentle stir so we don't break the eggs up into little pieces. And it's done. So we're going to turn the heat off, and we're going to transfer it over into a glass Pyrex pie plate. So as you're cooking it, you want to be constantly stirring the bottom up, otherwise it might burn and stick to the bottom of the pot of the wok. Okay, we got the green onions now. We're gonna sprinkle it on the top of the stir fry of the noodles, and the dish is done. There you have it. So this is eaten with rice usually, but since it's a noodle dish, you can eat it on its own. It's usually eaten with rice. Even though it's a noodle, it's a low carb noodle since it's made from beans and not from rice or wheat. But like I said, you can also eat this alone by itself without any rice. And dried noodles gives it a nice seafoody taste without actually having a lot of seafood in it. Okay, bon appetit.